Hello and welcome to Where Are They Now with Mario Toneguzzi on Megapix Media. Joining me today is Kevin Boyles, who is Chief Executive Officer of the Calgary Winter Club and a former University of Calgary Dinos volleyball player. Thanks for joining us today, Kevin.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for having me here.
Well, let me just start, Kevin, by talking a little bit about your career now at the Winter Club and how long have you been there and how are things at the Winter Club these days?
Well, it seems like yesterday. It's been a bit of a blur, but it's been 10 years already since I left the university and came to the Winter Club. Things aren't great right now. I mean, we're like everybody else, shut down by the pandemic. It's got me in more casual attire. But aside from that, there aren't a lot of benefits. The club's closed and we're waiting it out, hoping to get reopened in the new year.
Tell me a little bit about the Winter Club itself, how long it's been around and what you guys have there.
Sure. Well, this is a fabulous facility. Winter Club was conceived back in 1958 and opened in 1960. So we've been around a long time, but the club has had transformations throughout its history. So about every 10 years or so, and in the last 10 years since I've been here, every few years, we've done some pretty major renovations and improvements. So now we're a 300,000 square foot facility. That has pretty much anything a member could possibly want. You know, we've got all the racket sports, we've got bowling, curling, skating, squash, tennis, badminton, a gymnasium, climbing walls, gymnastics, running track, you name it, along with restaurants, bar, banquet facilities, pretty much anything you could want all under one roof.
If you go back in time to 10 years ago or so, Kevin, what was the decision making behind you leaving the university as athletic director and going to the Winter Club?
That was really difficult. Honestly, Mario, the hardest decision I've ever made. I had been at the club, aside from 2 years where I played pro in Germany, and I spent 1 year working in Edmonton for Alberta Volleyball. I'd been on campus since 1985, so I was in my 25th year on campus.
Wow.
Every sort of curve I took in my career path kept me at the university in different roles and working for different organizations. But it was really hard to leave. When I became the athletic director, I thought that was my dream job, and I thought I'd retire in it, to be honest.
Yeah.
And this opportunity, I had to really have it explained to me a few times. They used a recruiter, and I actually said no 3 times before I sat down and did the interview and realized what a great opportunity this would be for me and for my family.
All right, super. Well, let's talk about Dino Days. I was looking up your mini bio because you are in the Hall of Fame, the Dinos Hall of Fame. And what struck me was that you're the only person in Dino history that has won a national championship as a player, head coach, and athletic director. What do you think when you reflect on that?
That's a pretty cool legacy piece, when you put it that way, and it's nice that that's written down in the history books. But for me, I'm at the point now. I'm in my 50s, and reliving the old glory days probably isn't. There isn't much use in that. It's so long ago that no one can remember those things. And I'm more in a place of just gratitude for the opportunities that I've had, and for the people who have helped me move forward, and just for the things that have come from my time at the U of C. I mean, I met my wife there in 1985. We've been together 35 years.
Wow.
U of C has given me a lot, not just work-wise, but my family and everything. So I really appreciate my time at the U of C.
Tell me a little bit about playing volleyball and as a sport itself. What do you think you learned from those years that have helped you in life and in your professional career?
I was never the most talented guy in the team, to be perfectly honest. I was a bit of a worker, and I was a unifier. I was a guy who kind of figured out how to help everyone around me be better. And so I ended up captaining a lot of teams. I learned a lot about leadership. but not being the most talented guy in the room. It's like what I do today. I never want to at work be the smartest guy in the room. Then I don't have a very good room going.
Yeah.
So, I want to surround myself with great people. And, I did that in my coaching days. If you have the most talented team, you're going to win. And so you surround yourself with excellent people. And then as a leader, just try to serve the group and to give them the tools and, the things they need to be successful, and get out of the way and let it happen.
Yeah.
So I really learned that at the U of C in my playing days, that you don't have to be the best person on the floor for your team to win and to have success, if you can make the people around you better. It's probably my biggest lesson and what I've carried with me the longest.
Are you from Calgary, Kevin?
I am. I'm a Calgary guy.
What high school did you go to?
Went to Crescent Heights High School.
Oh, okay.
Downtown Calgary. Yeah.
So tell me how you got involved in volleyball. Why volleyball and not any other sports?
Oh man, I was a basketball guy. Literally through high school, I only played volleyball to get in shape for basketball season, and it was too cold for me outside to play football. So I probably weighed about $165 too. So I probably got broken on a football field. But volleyball for me was jump training, and it was a chance to get ready for basketball season, which was really where my passion was.
Wow.
But then opportunities just came around. The old U of C coach Greg Ryan, when I was in high school, was coaching provincial teams, and he thought there was something in me in terms of potential that it was worth putting me as the 15th guy on a 15-player provincial team. And then from there, it just kind of grew on me, and I got better every year. Opportunities kept coming, and by the time I went to come to university, I had more opportunities in volleyball than basketball, and it just seemed like that national team route was opening up. Junior national team opportunities when I hit my first year university, and opportunities were there, so it would have been foolish not to take them.
Yeah. So you played with the Dinos mid to late 80s, but then you came back and played another year. And I see in that year you were Canada West Player of the Year in 1994. Can you explain just the reason, like why you came back for another year?
Sure. So I had done the 92 Olympics with the national team in Barcelona, along with some of my Dinos teammates. Randy Gingera being the most notable one of Canada's all-time greats, one of those great people I surrounded myself with.
Yeah.
And after the Olympics, I had the opportunity to play pro in Germany. I had a great season, won the Bundesliga for a team out of Berlin. But at the end of the year, I had my second knee surgery, and over the summer, and the national team door closed on me. So it was the year at U of C was just to decide if I was done or not. You hit that point as an athlete where you're starting to run up against hurdles. I was pretty small for this game. And, I needed to be at my absolute pinnacle of jumping ability and quickness and speed. And when your knees start to go and you start to slow down a little bit, you got to think hard about whether you can keep going. And I came back to the U of C to see if I was mentally done, and started a master's degree, and that opened up some new doors. And from there, the rest was history. It was time to back away from the game.
What did you take at university?
So my first time around, I did a BPE. I was a phys ed guy, and did an education after degree. And my thought was to teach. I came from a family of teachers. My wife's a teacher. She teaches high school phys ed at Aberhart here in Calgary, and that was going to be the route for me. But while I was playing on the national team, I did some substitute teaching and realized that it just wasn't for me. I was exhausted at the end of the day. I have a lot of respect for teachers, but I needed a 4:00 nap every day when it was over. And so then I came back and did a master's in kinesiology, and that's what opened some of the doors for me around Alberta volleyball, and then coaching at the U of C.
Okay. Do you still play
volleyball?
Yeah.
Heck no. I haven't left the ground probably in about 5 years. One of the prices we pay as as athletes at that international level is our joints take a serious pounding. And, I've had a couple knee surgeries. I've had an ankle dislocation, um, things that now are becoming arthritic. And for years after I stopped playing volleyball, I went back to basketball. Got a group of buddies that I kept playing senior men's hoops with, but I haven't been on a volleyball court in, I bet you, 20 years,
Oh, wow.
other than to coach and to play with my kids.
What do you miss? Do you miss anything about it?
I think your mind probably still thinks at a level that your body can't achieve
Yeah.
as a retired athlete. And so for me, I was able to let go of the competition side of it by uh, competing as a coach and an athletic director. I mean, those are opportunities where you get to be invested in a team without actually being on the floor. And I love the competitive side. So if there's anything I miss, it's competition. But I've been able to let that go too.
Okay, super. Well, thanks very much for joining us today, Kevin.
Yeah, it was my pleasure. It's a lot of fun to talk about the good old days.
Okay, thank you. That was Kevin Boyles, who is Chief Executive Officer of the Calgary Winter Club and a former University of Calgary Dinos and Olympic team member in volleyball. This has been Where Are They Now with Mario Toneguzzi on Megapix Media. Thanks for joining us today.